that I might not be so eloquent tonight because I'm suffering from a severe case of outrage. Watching that film and the other films that have been done on the plight of the first responders, I think the 535 members of Congress kind of got it wrong. Because, you know, they should be leaping not only to co-sponsor this legislation, but to get it passed. And the power of a United States Senator, I've seen it in action. When senators don't like something, they use something called a hold or a filibuster. And so, honestly, while the legislation is extremely important, this should have been passed in the appropriations bill years ago. First responders and their families and their supporters shouldn't have to go traipsing up to Washington. Washington should be down here. But as I think about it, Washington, D.C. is here because, as I recall, it's government of, for, and by us. And when it ceases to be so, then it's up to us to change Washington, D.C. We change those people in Washington, D.C. We have the power to sweep the Congress clean. And so as I look in this room, I see future members of Congress. I see future leaders, policymakers, so that we don't have to beg and ask for anything, but we write the public policy ourselves. Now, I'm a child. I'm not going to speak very briefly because actually, like maybe 30 minutes ago, I didn't even have a voice. My voice was gone. And all of a sudden, I guess seeing the film, Save the Brave, it just brought something up out of me. And so at least I've got a voice just for this few moments. But I'm a child of the civil rights movement. I saw people from all walks of life come together and change this country for the better. I know that we have the power to the people, power of the people. We can do it again. If the Democratic majority in Congress can vote to spend $720 million every day for war, I know that we can also have the money to take care of our first responders. But the first responders, as dire as their situation is, there are millions of Americans, pockets of poverty and neglect all over this country. And so we need to join together, just as was done during the Civil Rights Movement, and turn a new page in this country. The world can't wait, and in fact, the world isn't waiting on us to do so. Because in other countries around the world, people have realized the power of the ballot, the power of the vote, and they have utilized the vote to change their material circumstances. And so that's why we can celebrate in Brazil that they have a revolutionary government that truly represents the interests of the people. We can celebrate that the people were willing to learn their constitution in Venezuela and then vote their values. We can celebrate that even in Paraguay right now, a liberation theology former Catholic priest is about to take the reins of the presidency through the power of the vote. But yet in this country, while the world isn't waiting for us, the world expects more of us. And we can deliver it. And it doesn't take not even 1/10 of the courage that the first responders showed when they answered the call. And now they wait for this country to answer their call. All it takes for us to have the same kind of reality is for us to step outside of the matrix that they have created for us, this matrix of fear. Honestly, I can tell you without reservation, I've been throughout this country now, and I've been in a whole lot of airports. And me undressing for TSA at the airport does not enhance my security, and it certainly doesn't protect me, and it doesn't have a darn thing to do about 911. George Washington warned us to beware the false patriots who usurp, who wrap themselves in the flag and usurp the very values of this country. That's what we have now. False patriots who take impeachment off the table, who continue to fund war and occupation, who neglect the effect of the rollback on civil liberties in this country and think that the Constitution is just a gosh darn piece of paper. Those are the false patriots, and in this room are the true patriots. The last thing I will say is this. That young man, Luke, I'm going to call you my congressman. Let me tell you what I saw in Denver. Now, I was moved almost to tears because my family was involved in the civil rights movement, and in Decatur, Alabama, we faced the Klan, and we had the National Guard in between us, and I was, you know, somewhat young and impressionable, and perhaps could have been full of fear as well. But I recognized that there was a very strong, courageous lineage that had preceded me, and so I didn't deserve to have any fear inside of me. But what I witnessed in Denver took me back to the images that I saw during the civil rights days of these police officers on horseback and these great big huge guns and these huge long batons, and they were there to protect I don't know who from the demonstrators who only wanted peace. But they were there nonetheless, and there was Luke with his camera videotaping it all. And not just Luke, but all of the young people. And it reminded me of the young people who faced the lynch mobs and the water hoses and the dogs. Those young people put their bodies against the gears and the levers and the wheels of the machine, and they said to the owners, "You will change or we will stop the machine from running." And that's what you guys are doing. And that's why I say to you, I love you so much. Thank you for what you're doing. Power to the people.